I don't know if you've been asked this before, but were you vaping on the sideline in Buffalo?
What?
You were vaping on the sideline. There was a clip of you. You went
like water vape?
You went with your hand to your mouth. On today's part of my take, we have Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel on the show. Something we've been trying to, a guest we've been trying to get for a long time now. Great interview with him. We talk everything football strategy, vaping on the sidelines, on everything.
Not vaping on the sidelines.
Not vaping on the sidelines. We're going to talk Nuggets, Heat, Game 3. We are in Chicago right now, so we're going to be doing the live trivia show tonight. So we're going to do a Stanley Cup Choose Your Own Adventure. We got to talk a little Zion. We got to talk a little Dalvin Cook, maybe some live cleanup, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Max. Let's talk about the most exciting streaming destination with the best in entertainment. Of course, we're talking about Max. They have shows and movies from the Food Network, TLC, the DC Universe, Adult Swim, and more. The new Shazam movie, Rick and Morty, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and they're all on Max. We are going to review 38 at the Garden, the Jeremy Lin Linsanity. This week, we're going to do that. Next week, we'll announce what we're going to review when we talk about it. And, of course, all of the HBO originals like Succession, Winning Time, and The Last of Us. I'm so excited for Winning Time Season 2. That's going to be great. They've got something for every mood, and plans start at little as $9.99 a month. Subscription required. Visit max.com. If you had an old subscription, it takes 2 seconds to switch over to Max. I did it, and I am loving Max. So go check it out. Max, the one to watch. Sign up now at max.com.
Best Max in the world.
Best Max in the world. Max, the one to watch. Sign up now at max.com and tune in after Mike McDaniel interview for our review of 38 at the Garden and what we're going to review next week. It's going to be a scorcher, literally. So Max, the one to watch. Sign up now at max.com. Okay, let's go. Welcome to part of my take. Today is Friday, June 9th, and Heat culture is dead.
Sorry to see it go. Looks like Nugs in 5. Nugs in 5, I stand by it. That was a nice game that they had the other night, but there's just too much. They've got we said that the Nuggets have the best Batman-Robin combo maybe in the NBA. I think that's probably fair to say now.
Best duo.
Where now it's like they've got a Batman and a Robin, and also the Robin has his own Robin to his Batman.
You're talking about Christian Brown.
I'm talking about Christian Brown.
Yes.
Who played out of his mind. Deli Plus game last night from Christian Brown.
Incredible. And the best Christian Brown moment was when he was all over the place, making plays, driving to the rim, dunking, and then he's like, let me try a three. And then promptly threw it off the back of the side of the backboard. Mm-hmm. But Christian Brown was incredible. Jokic was insane. He had the perfect stat line for a minute there. He ended up ending the game with 32, 21, and 10. But there was a moment in the fourth quarter where they showed his stat line. He had played 40 minutes. He had 30 points. He had 20 rebounds and 10 assists. And it was so visually beautiful to look at. And he is now, so historically, he is the first NBA player in NBA Finals history to go 30, 20, 10. And there's been 5 30, 20, 10 playoff games ever. He now has 3 of the 5.
It's insane.
The other 2, Kareem and Wilt, pretty good company.
Yeah, so also there was the first triple-double in NBA Finals history for 2 teammates, right?
Yeah, so Jamal Murray
also had a triple-double. It was a double triple-double last night.
And Mike Malone, who is a guest of the show.
Not a stat patter.
Not a stat patter, but Jamal Murray was in the game with about a minute left, up 10.
Not a stat patter.
To get that 10th rebound.
I need to go back and look at Jokic's games because I'm pretty sure like game 1, when you look at his triple doubles, they're all created differently. Yeah, they're like snowflakes. Each one is not like the last one because I think his first triple double, you could call that, was that the 40-point game?
No, he had the 40-point game in game 2, which
that was the
wasn't
second
a triple
one. Okay,
double.
all right. So his first game, he had I think it was the most. It was assist, right? That was the assist game.
I'll look it up right now.
I'm not sure, but the point that I'm trying to make is one game he'll have like 1 million assists. Next game he'll have 1 million rebounds, and the next game he'll have 1 million points. So like he can beat you with any different variety of types of triple doubles.
And he also like rolls out of bed in the first quarter, and he's already trending for a triple-double. I think he was like 10, 5, and 5 in the first quarter. It's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be one of those nights. Yeah. Jokic is the best player on earth.
I think we should embrace debate, Big Cat. I got a question for you because I don't think Jokic wants to be a star. I think he wants to go to work, go home, FaceTime his horses, and hop in the pool.
Yes.
Does he want or care to be a superstar?
That's deleted Kevin Durant tweet. I don't know why he deleted it.
I think he deleted because he didn't want it to be taken the wrong way.
He didn't want to get in the muck on Twitter all day because that is one of those tweets that you throw out there and then you have to sit there and look at the replies all day. So yeah, so essentially what happened was Dan Le Batard threw out the point, which I don't really understand whatsoever. He's basically said Jokic is magic and bird and America hates him. I don't think anyone in America hates him. No. I think he's probably the most liked guy. The only hate that you could say that Jokic has gotten this year was from the Embiid Mafia, and that was directed because they were trying to prop up Embiid. He is universally liked in America. So I guess if you want to say if he was American, would he be a bigger star? Yeah, you know what? Probably. Because that's probably how it usually works, where the guy who, if he was from Iowa or Oklahoma, yeah, you're right. If he played NCAA, if he had a crazy NCAA tournament run with Oklahoma State, yeah, you're right. We probably would have thought about him more and propped him up more as an American. That's a fair point, but that wasn't the point he was making. He was saying America hates him. Again, I don't know how. I've yet to see someone who hates Jokic.
It's a really good tactic to use, though, is to like create a guy out there and then get into an argument with that guy that doesn't exist. That's what 90% of the internet is right now.
Yes,
it's just you invent a guy to be mad at. It's a straw man. Nobody hates Jokic. My mom said his head's too big for his body.
That's not
too small for his body.
Yeah,
his haircut makes his head look small. But
that's not even hate.
That's like the meanest thing that I've heard about Jokic.
And again,
maybe if you're a horse, you hate him because wears your back out all day,
or he's never home.
Yeah, you miss him.
Yeah, you miss him
because he's not around.
But yeah, he like, yes, if you want to say that a guy who if he was born in America would be a bigger star in America, I'm gonna agree with that.
So this tells me that KD definitely still has burners. This tweet was meant to be sent from one of his burners. That's why he deleted it.
Yeah,
this was not meant for the main account. And I think that maybe the reason why he deleted it, and he could have left it up because I think he wasn't saying anything bad. He was saying that like Jokic doesn't care for the limelight. Like saying he doesn't care about being a superstar doesn't mean that it's not a negative against him. It's just like some people are built for media attention and they like that stuff. They want to be front and center all the time. He doesn't. He doesn't want to be front and center all the time. But I don't think that's a negative thing to say at all.
No, not at all. He goes about his work. He seems like an unbelievable teammate. We know he's an unbelievable teammate on the court. Mm-hmm. Seems like an unbelievable teammate off the court as well. I don't think it's a combo of a guy who probably doesn't love the limelight and also playing in a city and franchise that doesn't have, like if Jokic was a Knick or Jokic was, he probably would have a higher profile. That's not really like that. The argument, like Denver is now going to, if they win this finals, will go forward and their profile will raise. But of course, Jokic isn't like the most talked about star in the NBA because of that full combo. Not American, doesn't love the limelight, and plays in Denver. He still is universally liked.
You know what I learned last night? Because I was watching the game with a Nuggets fan. If you're a Nuggets fan in Denver, you can't watch their games on TV unless you have a very specific type of package. Because they're not on Comcast or whatever they use out there. The main cable service does not carry them. DirecTV doesn't even really carry them. So you can't watch Nuggets games unless you go out to a bar to watch. You can't watch Nuggets games.
Finals
you can watch the finals, obviously. But like during regular season games,
unless they're on ESPN,
you can't watch them unless they're on national television.
The Arsenal fans always tell us that Stan Kroenke's a bad owner, but he's about to possibly win a Super Bowl, a Stanley Cup, and an NBA title all within 5 years?
Well, also
4 years.
Arsenal's been the best team in the EPL all season, right? They're definitely going to win. They're definitely going to win the EPL this year. For sure.
Is Stan Kroenke the GOAT owner?
I think if Stan Kroenke was British, they would love
so
him.
Many people.
Everyone in England hates Stan Kroenke because he's not from England. But if he was English, he would be the most celebrated person there.
And we're just forgetting all of our listeners from St. Louis, just like Arthur meme.
Yeah,
the fist is starting to get tighter and tighter as we talk about how Stan Kroenke's an incredible owner.
Okay. Also, I know that Arsenal choked away the EPL this year. We do know that.
We do know that. We're dumb facing.
Yes,
we're dumb presenting.
Yes,
we're dumb presenting.
My pronouns are shithead.
Yeah, but the game was great. Jamal Murray. For the Nuggets, it wasn't. I was a little pissed at the Heat because I wasn't going to turn off an NBA Finals game, but I don't know if you guys had the same experience. I was sitting on my couch watching the game being like, it's not over, the Heat. But it was. It was always over. And outside of Jokic and Murray, who have been incredible, and they both had incredible nights, the Nuggets are just too tall. They're simply too tall for the Heat.
That's what we said after game one. The Heat don't have anybody that can match up with them.
Bam had 17 rebounds, and the Nuggets were still had 15 more rebounds than the Heat.
You've got Bam, then you've got Chris Kaman Jr. that they can put in.
Yeah,
and then
Zeller.
Yeah, Zeller. And then who's left after that to guard any of their bigs?
Yeah.
Nobody really. They put in Haslam at the end for a second. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really mean when they zoomed in on his hair.
Yeah, that was mean.
Really mean.
Him and Jeff Green both. They like to zoom in on their hair.
Yeah.
Which, as a guy that will soon be approaching that level, I took major offense to that.
So
it's like, let it go.
So do we think the Heat are dead? Because this is now the trap that we fall into.
Yeah.
Where now that the Heat have to win a game, would you say must win game 4 for the Heat?
This is beyond a must win.
Yeah.
This is the mustest win.
So now their backs to the wall. Jimmy Butler has not been heard from this series. Maybe.
I'm going to get the narrative going, though. Jimmy Butler's...
How bad does it make you, Hank?
Jimmy Butler's hurt.
Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin have not been good.
I'm curious more just, from Max's perspective, my compadre here, where everyone last year, him and Tatum and Jimmy Butler's, finals numbers, Tatum's are actually better, and everyone was calling Tatum last year, biggest choke, can't show up in the big moments. Jimmy Butler,
I like this, Hank,
is doing even worse than Jason Tatum last year. Nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter. Where's the discussion?
Why aren't we having a Jimmy Butler choke artist?
Right, Max?
Conversation.
Isn't it crazy?
Should we start?
Agreed. Terrible propaganda against my Celtics, like always.
It's crazy. It's just interesting.
I do think he has to have a game where he takes over and wins a game for them. For it to not become like, where was Jimmy Butler in the finals?
I'm gonna say that he's injured though. I'm gonna be the first to report that Jimmy Butler is not healthy.
When did he get injured?
He got injured when he rolled his ankle
against the Knicks.
One of the 6 times that he rolled his ankle. Yeah,
and then played very well in those first 3 games against the Celtics.
But you know how rolled ankles are. Sometimes it's worse than a break. You wait 3 weeks and then it just flares up again.
I think the Heat are in deep water because they're just Nuggets are better and taller, and tallness matters. Height matters.
It does
in basketball.
Sadly, in life,
it does, but especially in basketball. But if there's ever a team to not count out, it wouldn't shock me if on Friday night the Heat somehow pulled a rabbit out of their hat. Partially because for the 17th time these playoffs we've declared Heat culture dead. They pop up and it's 2-2 going back to Denver.
I would be surprised if the Heat won. I think the Nuggets are going to win it in 5. In fact, I'm going to do. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think that this Nuggets team should win 3 championships.
Ooh,
I think
dynasty already.
I think this should be a dynasty. Think about it. Look at the players that they have right now. Look how they're playing as a unit. They've got a great coach that knows this team inside and out. With Murray, with Porter, Gordon, and Jokic all together. And then you've got defensive help too that they brought in this offseason that should be around. You should be able to extend them. KCP. I feel like with this roster, let's just say that it will be a disappointment to me if the Nuggets win fewer than 3 NBA championships.
Okay, so they have to do that. Otherwise, it's a complete bust.
Complete failure.
They haven't even won 1 yet, and we're already on dynasty talk.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
That's exactly
in sports media.
I'm getting ahead of it because that is going to be the conversation. Make no mistake, when they win this first one, it's going to be on First Take, and they're going to say, how great do you think this team can win?
Yeah. Michael Porter Jr., by the way, has not been great.
He has not been good.
They have been
Which is why I
basically.
replaced him as Jamal Murray's Robin with Christian Brown.
Yes. Christian Brown was, that. If you're a guy who's a true role player guy and off the bench, 7th, 8th, 9th guy, whatever it may be, you just hope you have that one moment in the playoff run so that when they talk about that ring, they can be like, yeah, that was Christian Brown. Christian Brown, he had that game.
He's going to be featured on the One Shining Moment.
Yeah, he's because otherwise you don't want to be the guy who's like, oh yeah, when you look back at it, oh okay, so you played 3 minutes there, 5 minutes there. No, he had in an NBA Finals game, he came into the game and what he scored was it 21 or something. Yeah, I think it was 21. He was on fire.
I've got an interesting stat here in the playoffs. Big Cat, the center who has the highest 3-point percentage of all time?
The center in the playoffs. Wait, say it again. I'm looking up.
Highest
looking up
3-point percentage
of
of any center in the playoffs.
15 points. Sorry, 15 points. Highest. Say it one more time.
Highest 3-point percentage of any center in the playoffs who has attempted over 100 threes.
Oh, I was going to say over 100 threes because I was going to say like it could be like Shaq is like 1 for 2.
Yeah, over 100. So
Yeah.
a shooter.
Oof. Who is it?
It's Jokic.
Okay.
It's Jokic. And
I thought it was a trick question.
No, I did see the stat on NBA Reddit. And also,
Who's second?
The flip side to that, I don't know who's second. Do you know who the last player is? Who's worst?
Embiid.
It is Embiid.
Yeah.
Also, Hank just might have looked at my computer, but
Yeah.
I can't read that. That's a no-brainer.
this is the dozen rigged. It is a no-brainer. Yeah. Embiid stinks.
I was
compared
hoping it
to
was a
Jokic.
trick question, but yeah.
I just wanted to say that for no particular reason.
Jokic also.
That's crazy. He's even got that many threes off. He only
Yeah.
plays like one round a year.
Also
Who,
chokes
Embiid?
against the
Yeah.
Celtics every single year.
Yeah. Against your Celtics, Max. It's insane Jokic's touch. Like he just throws balls up at the rim and he'll have shots that hit the front of the rim. You're like, how's that going to
He's
go
like
in?
a carny.
And it just rolls right in. Yeah. It does feel like there's a magnet on the ball sometimes because his touch is insane.
Murray's got crazy touch too. That layup that he had that bounced off
he
the
was
top
phenomenal.
of the backboard was insane.
Yeah. All right. So that was game 3. Good game. Stanley Cup. So we are taping we're doing a live show tonight in Chicago. The dozen final 4. What are we gonna say for
Congrats.
Choose Your Own Adventure?
No, fuck you, Hank. First of all, I'd like to say that Hank.
He looked at you when he said
I
that.
came into the office and Hank immediately goes, I'm kind of rooting for Clem, Dave, and Eddie to win tonight.
Well, it's kind of similar to Max, who said he was going to wear a Quiggs jersey tonight. Quiggs is facing off against my team in the first round, and I reminded Max. Well, I just pointed out to Max that Pardon My Cheesesteak's doing pretty well, and all the boys get taken care of at the end of the year. It's a team effort.
We were just having a
Everyone's
discussion.
part of it.
Isn't that
And
interesting?
I think
having a discussion.
when Hank, PFT, and I all sit down and we say, who's getting what money from Pardon My Cheesesteak, we take out a big board and it just has a loyalty ranking. And that's how we decided.
Wait, Hank's involved in that? I thought it was just me and you that were involved in it.
Hank was involved in it last year.
Well, that's
Should we
because
cut him out?
that's because we allowed him to.
yeah,
be.
that's true.
So Hank rooting against me right now. Max rooting against Big Cat. Everything's coming up memes.
Memes is going to literally be the owner of Pardon My Cheesesteak. Congratulations, Memes.
Means his pink eye.
Wait,
What?
Memes has pink eye.
Wait, what? You have pink eye right now?
That was mean.
This is fucked.
I touched your hand.
That was
mean.
fucked
No,
up,
that was
Hank.
mean.
We dapped up when I got here.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Yeah, actually, no, we didn't. You're so awkward.
Hank's
you
a
would
little
never
nerd.
touch
You know
anyone's
what?
hand.
You know what the most fucked up thing about this entire situation is, Big Cat, with Hank rooting against me? You know what Hank did last night?
What?
Hank hit me up at like what?
Oh, yeah. That's
We'll get
Firefest.
to
That's
it. We'll get
Firefest.
to it.
That's
No,
Firefest.
but I think it's directly tied into this conversation that we're
I
having
was
right
saying,
now.
No, but it's
rooting
Firefest.
against
Let's save it for
Brandon.
Firefest. I know it's Firefest.
As much as I like you, I would enjoy it if Brandon lost. And
Yeah, that's the problem, PFT, that you keep running into is that you have the most hateable person in the world.
like, I want
he's
you to
so-
win, but I can also live with you. Like, you losing could provide good content, which is good for the show, which I ultimately care about the most. So it's like,
Shut up.
there's a rationale behind it.
Yeah, you
if
have-
it was
you're
just
playing-
you, if you were playing by yourself,
But
I'd be
Brandon's
rooting
so
for you.
hateable.
playing with like a
He's so-
mix of like LeBron and John Rocker.
But he's so hateable that he's likable.
No.
Is the thing.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's no one I want to see
No.
win less.
There's no redeeming qualities to Brandon Walker.
Who would you rather see win, Brandon or Max?
Max.
Yeah, because Max at least like look at him. He's
Max
just
is
like a
the-
big
How did I get-
jolly.
He's
put
the
in
best
there.
loser, though.
He's.
Well, that's why it's like kind of like
I almost
you
said
can just
the
say
meanest
yes
thing
because
to
you know
Max.
it's never going to happen.
I almost said the meanest thing you could say
Whatever.
to another fat guy.
It truly is. It's us against the world.
I almost called you cuddly.
I'll take that. I'll
Big
take that.
squishy
No, there's
marshmallow.
nothing worse than being called cuddly.
Max does
Oh,
that.
God.
He's got a very.
Just want to squeeze him between two graham crackers.
Oh,
He's
no.
got a kissable face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna curl up next to him like a little puppy. Which oh no, he'd probably slit my throat.
So Panthers gonna win tonight?
No.
Oh, we're in our Stanley Cup preview. That all counts, by the way.
Yeah, Panthers win tonight.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup on Sunday or Saturday. Sunday. It's Monday's show. We have a life episode coming.
Yeah, I'll just say why we're doing it. My dad's having his memorial service on Sunday, so we're gonna tape on Saturday.
The preview of
We're gonna
NBA.
We're gonna tape the NBA reaction from Friday night's game.
Yep.
And then we're doing a life episode with Titus and Rosillo. Long episode, great episode.
Great episode.
So it'll be stitched together that way, so we won't have any new content from Sunday.
Right.
That's going to be coming out Monday morning, but we should cover the finals, and that should all be fine. And people
Golden
tend to
Knight's
like
sweet.
no, I think it's Panthers. I think hockey's such a fucked up sport that you shift to home ice. They asked the Panthers coach the dumbest question. Hockey reporters, I don't know, are they dumb? Are they hockey guys?
No, they're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
you can tell because they asked the coach, like, are you gonna bench Bobrovsky? And he was like, what? No, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? He's
Well,
like,
they pulled him.
They pulled him because he
Yeah.
didn't have a great start, but it wasn't all his fault.
Yeah, no.
Their team sucked in
Yeah.
game 2. So yeah, it's in the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you imagine if you bench Bobrovsky?
No.
No, it's not going to happen.
All right, so I'll take the Panthers tonight. Go Peas.
Yeah, go Peas. Let's go Peas.
All right, before we talk about some other stuff and get to our interview with Mike McDaniel, quick word from our friends at Turo. Hank used Turo.
I use Turo.
Car owners who share their cars on Turo are hosts. People who book cars on Turo are guests, and that's how it works. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want for just about any occasion from a community of local hosts across the U.S., UK, Canada, and Australia. Book an SUV for a road trip, something easy and affordable for getting around on vacation, or test drive an EV. What car did you get, PFT?
I got Chevy Silverado, actually.
Ooh,
It was
nice.
Yeah.
So you can even get a vintage car or something classy for a special event or photo shoot. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Find your drive, forget boring rental cars, and go to Turo.com. That's Turo.com. Turo.com. Start getting some nice cars for these trips. There's tons to choose from, and you can ditch those boring rental cars and go to Turo.com right now. Get everything you've ever wanted, any car you've dreamed of. They probably have it at Turo.com. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. I know Hank drove an Audi.
Yep.
On Turo. So all the cars are there. Go to Turo.com, Turo.com, and get yourself something nice if you have a trip or if you're just, you got a weekend where you want to have a nice car, nice sports car, something cool, something you never dreamed of. Turo.com has it. Okay. We should probably talk about Zion Williamson. And for people who aren't online, Zion Williamson the other day did a gender reveal with his girlfriend. Congrats to them, by the way. I think baby girl.
Was it a gender reveal or was it a pregnancy reveal?
It might have been a pregnancy reveal. So still yet to be determined gender. That triggered, unfortunately for Zion, a string of tweets by a lady who allegedly has been spending time with Zion and didn't know about the girlfriend. I'll just read a random one. Just a random one. I let you spit in my mouth last week when we fucked. You could have told me you had another whore pregnant. How is that going to work moving us both to New Orleans? You think I would have found out? So that you can get the gist.
Yeah, I'd like to read another random tweet if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, please.
I motivated you to get back in shape.
Yes.
I let you fuck me all kinds of ways and film me on your phone at Zion Williamson, and you impregnate a low-budget porn star. DNA test or I'm done.
Yeah, so that one's tough to unpack because it basically is like Zion is now having his girlfriends and his girlfriends and whoever his relationships are, they all are in the Zion weight loss program.
But I kind of like I like the fact that she's letting him fuck her in different positions just to get a workout in.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like the other girl, Mariah Mills, who's apparently a porn star as well. I don't know. She's a porn star.
It's a little confusing because this all is alleged, I guess.
This should clear it all up because
it is.
Anytime I get confused about a situation like this, I like to look at a Black Sports Online headline, and that usually clears it all up for me. More women
Robert
are planning.
Shout out.
More women are planning to speak on Zion Williamson because they are upset he got an alleged squirter pregnant instead of them. I love the use of alleged.
30-person slideshow,
alleged.
30-picture slideshow.
Yeah.
And a podcast playing.
That's wonderful journalism on his part, making sure that you don't get sued. She is allegedly a squirter.
Yes.
It has not been confirmed. So Zion
this is all alleged. Hank just looked at me like,
Well, I don't think the porn star like that. I think that can just be verified.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess, but you could also make the argument like he is a very well-known person. Anyone could start tweeting about spitting in mouths and fucking in different positions.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems real, but I also don't like.
Well, he was
he's a
on
public
Snapchat.
figure.
I'm sure he thought he was on
Yeah,
Snapchat.
the
He's
Snapchat
like, this
does hurt.
Now,
This,
are we sure
this
that
can't
that-
get out there. It's Snapchat.
Are we
Yeah.
sure it was Zion Williamson? Because the screen name was Zion Williamson
Right.
on Snapchat. It could have been anybody.
Yeah, and as far as the spitting in mouth, I just try to spin zone this for Zion and be like, maybe he's, not finishing all his food. Maybe that's part of the workout program.
Or he's losing water weight that way.
Yeah. What are you saying?
I was just researching the topic on Twitter, and someone tweeted thoughts and Glocks. A Zion Williamson and Ja Morant documentary coming soon.
Yeah. So Ja's the other part.
It sounds like she's a Rastafarian the way she mounts Zion.
Yeah. I mean, she went on a tweet spree.
Oh, here's
Guns
another
and
one.
buns.
Don't call my phone at Zion Williamson. You lost me for good. Until I see DNA, I'm done.
Yeah.
Shout out Marsha Clark.
Yeah. Yeah, there was I told you you were going to be the next king next to LeBron. I motivated you. Mm-hmm.
And these women
Your
are
baby mama is the
33 and
reason
29 for the record.
Your baby mama is the reason you gained weight. She toxic. So now we have alleged reasons for gaining weight too.
Because the baby mama was
Toxic.
was feeding him.
Toxic.
That, you know what? That does sound toxic. It sounds like she was trying to get. This happens in relationships sometimes. If you ever seen like My 1,000-Pound Wife or whatever that show
Yeah.
is, sometimes in an abusive relationship, somebody will make the other person fat so that other people won't find them desirable.
So that's
it
what
sounds like that's what the baby mama was doing, trying
Yeah.
to get him fat. The porn star was like, "Hey, I want you to be in better shape. I want you to be the next LeBron." Sounds like she's the real ride or die.
Yeah. And also the woman who went on the tweet spree about Zion said she's still moving to New Orleans. So I think he still has 2 girlfriends, which kind of rocks.
Pending the DNA.
Yeah, pending the DNA. Also, just a heads up to Zion, like when someone goes on a tweet spree about you like this, don't call them right away because then they can be like, look, he's calling me.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? This actually does explain a lot about Zion's weight gain. He's got 2 girlfriends. He's going out to 2 dinners a night.
Yeah.
He's got to
dinner,
put on
double
weight.
breakfast.
Yeah, I've seen
Double lunch.
I've seen enough shitty sitcoms to know the plot point where you're at one restaurant and you're like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. You sprint to the other restaurant.
Yeah.
Sit down for a little bit. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Go back to the first restaurant.
This is kind of like when I eat dinner with my kids at home and then I come back to the studio and then we get like a huge spread of meal.
Yeah, he's been eating double snacks and double pussy.
Yeah. So Zion, maybe not the best day. I would like to get a comment from Mike Malone being like, why are people talking about Zion and not the Nuggets? That I just imagining him being mad about that would be very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Ja Morant, who his camp is now alleging that it's a toy gun.
Mm-hmm.
So if it were a toy gun, credit to Ja, because he basically it's like a nicotine patch. He's weaning himself off guns.
Do you think, but if I was Ja Morant, I'd be pissed off at my team for putting that information out there because you're essentially saying that the gun that you held up in the live stream was such a shitty, ridiculous gun that it could be mistaken for a toy gun.
I think the first gun could have been more the toy gun.
that was like a Derringer.
Yeah. So interesting path forward for Ja.
When is Adam Silver going to announce the suspension? Is it going to be like at the trophy ceremony? Because he's got a suspension ready
Maybe
for
the draft right before the first pick.
Yeah.
That would actually be mean but hilarious if he mentioned it right before the Grizzlies pick.
Yeah.
And then we also had in NBA news, this really was a day that they were like, how many stories can we have that take away from the Nuggets? Chris Paul has reportedly been waived, but he's not waived because why would they waive him right now? They don't have to. And it sounds like if you're reading between the lines, the Suns basically sat him down and like, hey, we owe you $30 million. We're not going to pay you $30 million. We're going to probably waive you, so we only have to pay you 15, and then we'd like to re-sign you for way less. And doesn't feel like it's headed for a good ending there.
I think the way that it's being framed right now in the news makes it seem like Chris Paul isn't coming back.
No.
And so if you're Chris Paul, even if that was the plan, the way that it's played out would probably make you more inclined to not be his son next year.
I also I wasn't aware of the Chris Paul clip where he talked about his daughter getting bullied at school, which sucks. That does suck. But the example he used was he's like, yeah, my daughter was at school and a kid went up to her and was like, your dad's never going to win a ring. So I just want to say shout out to the 12-year-olds in the Phoenix area who are listening to Pardon My Take.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, was that that the meanest thing? Like, it sucks. It sucks because no kid should be bullied, especially when their dad's a fucking professional athlete. But the example using just being like, your dad's not going to win a ring. Yeah.
Can you imagine if somebody came up to your son in preschool and was like, your dad's never going to win an iHeartMedia podcast award? He's lost 7 in a row.
Very upset.
Also, shout out to Chris Paul for that quote that came out, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm kind of addicted to playing in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
He kicked it. He
sober.
should be advising Ja Morant
Yeah.
on how to get rid of the gun addiction.
He just needs to go to the Lakers.
He quit finals cold turkey.
Yeah, he needs to go to the Lakers.
I think
let him go to the Lakers. Let's have fun with that.
It would be nice
great.
to see him. There'd be a full circle moment.
Yeah, Melo comes back.
Yeah, Chris Paul was supposed to be a Laker.
Yeah.
People forget that. David Stern said, no, that trade's not happening.
Yeah, we get Dwayne Wade can maybe coach the Banana Boat, the whole team, the Banana Boat squad. All right, last things before we get to our interview. So the little bit of live stuff. There was a report. I don't know if you saw this, that John Rahm was like about to jump to live. So that would probably help like understand the timeline and how quickly everything went down.
That's what I was saying to Dan Rappaport. I was like, it seems like a seismic event, whether that, and in the back of my mind, it was like Scotty Scheffler or John Rahm would be enough to make them come to the table.
Right. And because you then would have the Masters winner and the PGA champion. So the first 2 majors of the year be on Live Tour. And then the Rory's just going through it because there's reports of like Live players being like, no one wants that bitch on our team. I think I also read something where they basically were like, yeah, we're gonna what I was saying on Wednesday, like they're gonna find a way to make a lot of these guys not whole, but like pay a lot of the players. But they're like, but not Rory, he's not getting anything.
Well, so with Rory, he said he felt like a sacrificial lamb
when
he was talking to the media, and he absolutely was.
Yes,
they used Rory.
Jay Monahan used him.
Yeah, so if I was Rory, I'd be furious. I still don't see a way how the players can look Jay Monahan in the eyes as their commissioner and how he moves forward. I guess it's not their call.
I think
but if enough players make a big enough stink about it, I'm sure they could probably figure out a way to get him going.
Again, I just go back to he probably is like, it's you guys are gonna make more money.
Yeah,
and it's like it's not right. It's the whole thing is fucked up on the Jay Monahan part. I don't care about Live. Like this is good for golf fans. I'm happy that all the players can be competing against each other. I just think Jay Monahan's a snake. But if I had to put myself in his brain for a second, he's literally just being like, guys, I know you're mad at me, but money.
Yeah, money. There's money.
Money.
Did you see the clip of Bryson going on CNN?
Oof.
And they asked him about 9/11 pretty much. They're like, what about all the stuff that the Saudis did? And Bryson kind of yada 9/11, which is the first time I think that's ever happened. But he also said that he hopes that because the Live Tour and the PGA are merging, that there won't be another 9/11.
Yeah.
And so shout out to Bryson
Peace.
DeChambeau.
Him
and Mark Wahlberg handshake meme preventing a possible 9/11.
David Guetta, all these guys just fixing the world. Golf, music, makes the world go round. Your Apple Watch is talking again.
I know.
Yeah, Jay Monahan went on TV too, and man, that guy should never go on TV.
Never.
That was as uncomfortable as you could get. He did an interview, and he knew the question was going to happen, where it's like, you worked with the 9/11, like the people who the families of 9/11 and all these people, you worked hand in hand with them to put out this message, and then you stabbed them all in the back. What are your thoughts? And he had nothing.
If you're Jay Monahan, I go back to, you can say, we don't want to take their money. We don't want to be in bed with a public investment fund from a state that's had questionable activities in the past. You can say that, or you can do the thing that he did, which was directly refer to 9/11, bring the widows and the family members out. If you go that second path where you have the families and you talk about 9/11 explicitly, then you can't take the money.
Yeah, you've entered them into the conversation.
Then you cannot take the money.
Yes.
You can always be a half snake about it and say, like, we don't want to do business with them. Their money's questionable. That seems like a big headache that is not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at that point. And then you can be a snake and end up taking the money anyways. But you can't directly talk about terrorist attacks and what a shame it is that other guys are taking their money and use the families as props and then go behind all their backs.
Right.
Jimmy Doon, who was one of the PGA guys who got in the mix and like helped make the deal happen, worked in one of the Twin Towers, wasn't there that day, but lost like his boss, his mentor, 60 coworkers. Only wasn't there because he was trying to qualify for like the U.S. Open or something. He was at a tournament. He just was on TV. We're recording in the afternoon, and he said on the Golf Channel, if someone can find someone who unequivocally was involved with it, I'll kill them myself.
Oh,
When he was asking
shit.
about 9/11.
Damn, he just went dog the bounty hunter on us.
I'll kill them myself. Good for him.
Okay.
All right. Well, you know how Jay Monahan said that new information has come to light?
I do feel like, though, Jimmy Dune like probably helped Jay Monahan. He was like, well...
No, he pushed it through.
Yes, that's right.
And he was like, quoted
and he was
as
like, what
saying
about the
that.
9/11 thing? He's like, well...
He's like, nah, 20 years.
Yeah, he's like, if anyone... there's part of me that thinks that, where it's like... Him saying that we can push through this with them, probably made Jay Monahan be like, well, you know,
and it's
he
money,
lost everyone he knows in 9/11,
and it's
he
like,
wants to do this.
It's a shitty thing, but it's also how the world works. Money and power just run everything. A guy like Jimmy Dune being like, oh, I get more power now, and I get to be like, he's now a board member of the new PGA Tour, and he basically gets to do like he has membership to every awesome golf club like Augusta, Shinnecock, where he shot a 72, Seminole, all these places. He now gets even more power just by being a scumbag, and he can go to sleep at night being like, oh, yep, I have all this power.
Is it Jimmy Dune or Jimmy Dunn? I don't know how to say his name, but if you look at his resume,
I'll tell you who'd be done. Guy who did 9/11. If Jimmy Dunn ever finds him,
he gets his hands on. Well, Jimmy Dunn, let me introduce you to a man named George W. Bush. That would be an all-time twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But
Jimmy Dunn goes to jail for killing
George W.
president.
Bush. If you look at Jimmy Dunn's resume, or Jimmy Dune, whatever his name is, he was pretty much explicitly brought in just to close this deal. That's what he does. Is he's a big power financier. He was brought in, I think, in November 2022. Pretty much just to do this mission. Which mission accomplished for him? Another, never mind. I'm not going to go down that road. But it does seem, that's a good point that Jay Monahan was like, okay, I've got this guy who's lived through it, who's experienced some of that trauma. And if he says it's okay, then Jay Monahan gets to do like, some of my best friends are actually 9/11 survivors.
Some of my best friends were playing golf on 9/11.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Yeah. It's just money wins.
Yep.
If you haven't figured that out by now, you will someday. Money wins. Mm-hmm. All right, last thing before we get to the interview. The Vikings. I don't want to take another victory lap, but the Vikings seem to be doing things like rebuilding type things where they realize, hey, maybe last year was a little fluky, so they are trying to trade Dalvin Cook, probably going to cut him, and then they're also taking offers for Danielle Hunter, their pass rusher. So smart moves by them to be like, hey, we probably can't replicate what happened last year. Maybe we should start figuring out a way to sell high on a lot of these things and start rebuilding for the future. But it does feel exactly like that's what's going on.
Dalvin Cook seems to be on the tail end of his career. And it's sad to say because as a running back, he was awesome, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? He didn't have a great season last year.
I feel like when he plays, it's just when he plays. And maybe this is also because his backup, Alexander Madison, kind of looks like him, so you just combine all those yards together.
As far as their defense goes, I know Hunter's a great player, but also that defense probably can't get any worse than it was last year.
Yeah.
So if it gets better marginally somehow, and you get a good haul back for Hunter, then I think that you're in a better position.
He was good last year. He had almost 1,200 yards rushing.
Maybe I'm wrong about
Dalvin
that. I'm thinking of the clips that I've seen and the games that I've watched him play, but it seems like he lost a little bit of explosiveness.
Yeah, no, he had it was actually his second best rushing season in terms of yardage, total yardage. So he played all the games. So I was wrong about that. I guess he wasn't injured. It feels like he always missed like 2 or 3 games. But either way, it's smart to sell on him.
They're building the team around Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
This will be this year is the year that we find out if Kirk Cousins is elite.
We're going to keep our minds open. Mm-hmm. We absolutely are. Okay, let's get to our interview with Mike McDaniel. On the other side, we're going to do 38 at the Garden review and Fyre Fest. Before we get to Mike McDaniel, farmer's dog, whether you have a few-week-old puppy or a senior who's seen multiple decades, any dog person like me knows the most valuable thing in the world is spending time with your pet. The farmer's dog can help to keep them healthy, which can give you more quality years with them. I've actually been a Farmer's Dog client. Stella has been eating Farmer's Dog for 4 or 5 years now. So before they started advertising, that's how much I love it. I found it online. She loves it. I love it. It's super easy. The Farmer's Dog makes and delivers fresh, healthy dog food. It's recommended by vets. Nutritionally balanced and made from human-grade ingredients in safe, clean kitchens, it's the best option for dogs at all stages of life because it's not kibble, it's not canned goo, it's just real food. Traditional, dry, and wet dog food options are extremely processed, can use much lower quality ingredients than they claim to, and are extremely difficult to portion accurately. Farmer's Dog isn't just high quality food. They also send the food pre-portioned specifically for your dog based on their unique nutritional needs. This makes it easy to help your dog maintain their ideal weight, which is one of the biggest indicators of a full, healthy life. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/PMT. It comes Big Cat and Stella approved. 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Okay, here he is, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. Okay, we now welcome on a very, very special guest. It is head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. Coach, it has been a long time coming to have you on the show. So much so, I'm going to ask you kind of an awkward first question.
Let's get awkward, bro.
Okay. Did you see when PFT and I texted you, and did you just ignore it? Because we did text you at the Combine, so you ignored it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can pull up the thread real quick. Because before we started recording here, you just said that we've been ducking you.
Mm-hmm.
We were under the impression that you've been ducking us.
I mean, there's various definitions of ducking.
Yeah.
Who's to say who's the duck?
Yeah. We got your number from Kevin Stefanski, who we had on the show, and we shot you a text at the Combine. We said, Coach, we'd love to have you on. We'll do it anytime, anywhere. You tell us. Crickets. We're like, does he hate us?
No, it's just plain hard to get. Look at what's happening right now.
Yes,
okay?
It's true.
And this is consensual.
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, it could be true that you texted me. It could not be true. I lead the league in terrible phone, I don't know, behavior.
Yeah.
I try to be present wherever I'm at. There's a cost of that, and it's communicating with people that aren't around me. So I apologize if I did, but I'm not sure if it's the case.
Okay, so I've got the text thread right here. Big Cat on Wednesday, March 1st, texted you at 5:23 p.m. Hey, Coach, it's Big Cat and PFT from Part of My Take. We're in Indy for the next couple of days and would love to have you on the show if you have a free 30 minutes. We just wrapped up with Stefanski, so he can vouch that we're not bad guys, and it will be fun.
Yeah.
Hope all is well. And then I waited an appropriate amount of time, an hour and a half, and then I said, love you, Coach, -PFT commentary.
Yeah, but you're not going to read the audience. The third text, the one that was at 3:30 a.m. that said, you up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I was getting a lot of those that night, so you might have fallen through the cracks.
Well, I just wanted to clear up that part because when you were offered, we're like, yeah, we've been trying to get him on forever, so much so that we were harassing him on text. So I'm happy that we at least have you on the show now, and maybe you'll respond to our texts now.
Well, what if I took it a step further and said, not only are the doors open for this relationship to blossom, but I'm a huge fan of everything you guys do, and I was just trying to play hard to get, hoping you guys would treat me like a hot girl.
Yeah,
it
we got
worked.
you. We got you.
It worked. You look great today, by the way. Your eyes.
We chased you.
That fern brings out the eyes.
You shouldn't compliment me, but continue to.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is great that you're on. We have wanted to have you on since you got hired. Actually, probably before that, when you were with the Niners, you were going viral. It felt like every week. I'll start
You guys
there.
didn't know who I was.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I mean,
Because Kittle told us. Kittle was like, this guy, Mike, the way he schemes up a run game. Whew. Let's start there, though, because we have always said that when the 49ers and now the Dolphins, when they run the football, there's something about it that is just so beautiful to watch. At what point in your life did you fall in love with the run game? I would assume, you grew up watching Mike Shanahan's offense. What point in your life were you like, the run game is it? I love this.
Well, I did have a special attachment to the run game because of the Bronco fandom, as it were, specifically 95, when Mike Shanahan first got there and was with Terrell Davis. And they there'd been no championship to the city of Denver. And then on the heels of a legitimate run game, they got 2 Super Bowls out of it. So there's always the seed plants, but from a career perspective, it kind of happened out of survival. So I'm coming from the UFL, going to Washington, working with Kyle Shanahan. Again, I'd worked with him in Houston, and I had previously trained Matt LaFleur before I went to the UFL, and he was in Washington as the quarterback coach. And right when I got there, so I knew him, but on top of that, there was Sean McVay.
Yeah, they were familiar.
And there was a lot of competing voices. You get there in mid-February, and you're in cut-ups with the whole coaching staff, and you're watching all the pass game, and it's just like, it was guru after guru just contributing to the conversation. And I was like, wow, I am not the young smart guy anymore. And then we got to the run game. So you do it in phases. You do it like, you don't watch it in game order. You watch, like, you look at all the players and all the concepts that you're using. So you're watching all the pass game first, then you go to the run game. Well, out of the whole staff, the only person that was talking and really orchestrating conversation with Kyle was Chris Furster about the run game. So then I thought to myself, I'm into having a career and eating, and living in a house. Maybe I should learn what that guy knows. And in that process there, carved out a little niche that, it grew on me. I didn't really know that it was going to be that strong, but it ended up becoming like a passion.
Yeah.
And I found value, so I was able to have a job, which is cool.
That's awesome. I mean, the fact that it was born out of survival, which you could say for the run game, you have to run the ball to survive in the NFL. So do you still have that same passion for the run game? Because like we said, like when the 49ers run the ball, there's something about it that's like, it's sexier than a deep pass.
No, absolutely. Probably even more so at this point. You take one season, and you try to, we're fortunate enough to work in an industry that's thriving, and there's a lot of people that care about football. And so you can be like, oh, is he a pass guy? I'm still the same exact enthusiast. One of the reasons it's so cool is because you just don't, for it to look that way, you just don't, we'll say, I don't know, poop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Poop it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it takes so much deliberate work, and the reason why it looks different is because you're also coaching players to do stuff differently. So that, that's why it looks, and that's hard. And there's also, the element of players getting used to it, players trusting that leap of faith. It's a lot of work that you can't shortchange. I don't think there's been one, this is the seventh team that I've worked on in the NFL. So it's the sixth time that, it's all been in the same offense. So it's the sixth time that we've taken an offense somewhere, from my experience. And, that's generally, I don't think there's like one year that we, just ran the ball at will. It takes time. So it's something that we've put a huge emphasis on. And, I think the reason why it's so cool to you is because there's no shortcut to getting that done.
Yeah.
It's just time and effort and commitment and conviction.
It is beautiful. I mean, some of the 7-yard runs that you've had in the last couple of years have just been the most fun plays to watch. I also love how you respect the fullback position. You've got a great fullback in Alec Ingold, one of our favorites.
Badger.
Yeah?
Yeah, he is a supremely underrated player in the National Football League that I hope gains some momentum, because he's a good player.
He's awesome. We had to have a word with him a couple years ago because he was starting to do the thing that players do now where they jump over tacklers and they try to hurdle.
The thing, yeah.
You know that thing. And it's like, dude,
you set him down?
Yeah, you're a fullback, lower your shoulder. You don't go over people, you go through people. And he seems to have really turned the corner after that tough
how
love.
hyped do you get every time he runs somebody over?
Very hyped.
Like,
Yeah.
I nut.
I made him do that, guys.
Yeah. No, it's pretty nice. But like when you watch your run game, it almost seems like you make the wide receivers, the fullbacks, and the tight ends all play like offensive linemen and block like offensive linemen.
Shout out. This seed was planted in 2005, my first year as a coaching intern in Denver. And shout out to Mike Shanahan because he set the whole vision. And it was genius about him. So, it's the wide receiver position is tricky in general because you get compensated for the pass game. And typically, good football players have pride and they try to do it. But the bottom line is it's not like, well, let's go pay this guy because he's got sick blocks.
Right.
So how do you incentivize guys to participate in, something that's, less dividend paying directly as, catching a pass? And what Coach Shanahan would do was he would meet with, he would watch Thursday's practice, the team run period, which, everybody does around the league in some way, shape, or form, but he would watch that portion of practice as an entire offense on Friday with the thinking that the best way to motivate receivers to take pride and detail in the run game, the best way to really emphasize that it takes all 11 players to on the field to run the ball well is to have them all watch that together. And it's the peer pressure from the locker room, guys saying, dude, what, you're just gonna loaf and let me get tattooed by a strong safety? Like, that was his kind of way of really emphasizing and getting that done. And that, every place we've been, we've kind of taken that. And it's something that you just can't relent on. Your offensive coordinator has to be fully committed to it. The receiver coach has to be willing to drive it home. Unbeknownst to most people, Wes Welker is like a low-key run game guy and just loves receiver blocks more than anything. So all of that for it to look different, you have to approach it different, and you get what you emphasize. So not many people have described run game as beautiful, so I really appreciate that.
And
I
sexy.
described it.
Yeah.
And my wife looks at me like I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, we love watching that.
Yes.
I'm glad that you brought it up earlier. You mentioned that Washington Redskins team. It's not like I don't think about that every single day, about how we had you, Shanahan, LaFleur, and Sean McVay in the same room as coaches. Which one of you four was the alpha in that situation?
No, I mean, clearly the most physically imposing.
You.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we were all, it was such a cool environment because, Kyle was, so young as a coordinator. He got started at 28. And he made sure when he got the job that it was because of his football acumen and not his last name. He was very, he was as prepared as a young coach as there ever could be. And we were all very, very ambitious. And he was eager to teach, and it was his vision, him along with his father, that was like, you know what, who cares about the norms? Let's develop some coaches, and find some talented ones and really not, because they got a bunch of heat from the Washington Post at the time that called us the fun bunch. We had pictures of us and just kind of, because we were very young. But he had that vision, and we were just all pumped to see how good we could get in our time together. So Kyle was definitely the alpha. And then it was just like, who can wow the boss the most with this cool idea. And it made it, you didn't really get a coast at all.
Yeah.
Because you coast for a second and you look over your shoulder, and one of your peers is giving 3 great ideas to Kyle and his dad. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of great
Big.
minds in that room, for
Yeah.
sure. Now, Big Cat, do you want to ask the question about
Matt
LaFleur?
we do have a hypothetical. It's not about Matt
I mean,
LaFleur.
sorry, the question not about Matt LaFleur.
It's just a hypothetical football question. We ask this on every football coach. All right, so you're down 8. There is 2 minutes left in the game. You have all 3 timeouts. You're on 4th and goal on the 7 or 8 yard line.
yeah,
Do you kick a field goal or do you go for the touchdown? You're down 8.
well, in theory,
This is hypothetical. And let's say hypothetically too, the team that you're playing against has the greatest quarterback of all time on the other sideline.
and then I guess it's semantics. Is it a elimination game?
It's
Yeah,
an elimination
season's
game.
over.
Yeah. Yep.
Get out the golf clubs.
I think I take a knee.
Okay. All right. Good
I don't
answer.
know.
Yeah. That would definitely screw them up.
The funny thing, I think I felt for Matt, because I knew
Wait, what?
he knew exactly what he was doing. And anytime you make any decision as a coach, it'd be a farce to not submit to the fact that I don't know what's going to work. If I knew that, I would do that all the time. So you have to make a calculated decision that you feel good with. I talked to Matt after the game. We talked through if there were some disparities in thought process, but he knew why he was doing it. So, it's just one of those deals that if you're right, you're the man. And if you're wrong, yeah.
If you're wrong, it gets brought up on Pardon My Take for the rest of history.
For the rest of history.
That's
and
pretty
what's
much it.
ironic is you continually do that, and because Matt LaFleur is one of the greatest guys I know.
Facts.
All he does is needle me and text me about how I need to come on your guys' show.
Yeah. So, we love Matt LaFleur. Question off that.
What a good-looking guy, right?
He
The
is.
best looking
Yeah.
guy. The best looking
Yeah.
guy. He's the best looking, and I'll say this because I know Sean McVay would get upset, but he's of the fun bunch of that group, he's by far the best looking guy. Not even close.
Well, you haven't seen me with my shirt off.
That's true, but I'm still taking Matt LaFleur.
I
Matt
didn't say
LaFleur
it
with
would
a
change the ranking.
Yeah.
I was just
True. All right, so based off that, real football question off that. When it comes to those type of decisions on the sidelines, how many guys are in your ear? What's the process that goes through those split-second decisions of go for it, don't? I know that you have a chart, but is it like you're going with the chart, or is there some gut involved as well?
No, there's a lot of that. For me, I think it's so important to be super prepared for any game, because what I don't want to happen is ever to look in hindsight at a decision and be like, well, that was influenced by emotion. So what I'm as prepared as I can possibly be for the opponent, and then understand that my best will either be good enough or it won't in terms of my contribution, but the team, the players on the field are going to determine the outcome. So that being said, that preparation also goes to the people that you lean on, in your analytics department for all the game type scenarios. That's something that every Thursday during the week for like the last hour and a half of my workday, I meet with those guys, and basically every headset's different. The procedure that kind of happens on ours in particular is I'm just very I make sure that I don't negatively reinforce information on game day. So I let people know that I'm very open to taking any information that's legitimate. Having said that, they kind of get a rhythm of like, there's a certain tempo when you know exactly where you're going with certain things, that you'll be talking on the headset, and like coaches won't jump in with play suggestions or anything. They just let you roll. Same thing goes with the analytics advisors, is they're talking to me when as we've mapped out potential scenarios when it's appropriate to get me the information.
Yeah.
So I look at that as all tools. I think the whole point of having a head coach is so that someone can make a decision. And I look at it as my job to take all the information from all the talented people that I work with and make a decision and let the players let me know if that was the right or wrong decision.
That's smart. I mean, I would just be like, fuck you, dude. Why'd you tell me that? It didn't work. Over.
And like, it's not like I just overnight. This is something that I've been thinking about. If I were to be in the chair making the decisions, I've been thinking about throughout my career, and it's something that you have to be very mindful of, because you have to understand that no one wants to talk out loud and hurt the team's chances of winning a football game on game day. Everyone, they're all have the same thing at stake in terms of, you win more football games than you lose, you're employed. So let's win the game. So no one wants to do that. And, I find that if you can just say nothing and move on, guys get pretty embarrassed, but they still try to come to the plate.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to engender a situation where it's like, yeah, I wanted to say something, but I didn't know if you'd yell at me. Like, so even when I'm frustrated, I try to do my best to understand the circumstances that they're operating in.
That's a very smart answer. I would coach pretty much based on vibes entirely.
Just vibe it, bro.
Yeah, just vibe it. Just go out there. Like if it's like late November, it's 23 degrees in Buffalo, and you're wearing the teal uniforms, I'd be like, we're looking kind of candy ass today. We're not going to be able to run the ball. We might as well just try a pass on fourth down. Do you ever look at the teal uniforms in cold weather and be like, you know what? This isn't running the football uniforms.
I mean, it's generally how I base all my decisions on inconsequential factors. I think, man, you've really got my brain turning.
Yeah. No, they're candy ass.
They're a little
you
candy ass.
You guys can't win in the cold.
I think that they're great for September and October when it's white out or when it's hot outside. But then once it gets, the weather starts turning, you get sleet, freezing rain. Kind of candy ass to be wearing those teals.
And Dolphins players look colder in those uniforms.
See, but I think I found the root of the problem.
Okay.
You guys who's your uniform distributor? I don't know who it is.
Okay.
But
Roback.
Our actual uniforms are aqua color, not teal.
Ah.
So you've probably been seeing teal and been like, those are candy. Really, aqua strikes fear in the heart of every man. I mean, that's just now we're just talking facts.
Yeah,
okay.
I see candy for every color, but yeah, sure.
That's a valid point, though.
No, you know what's cool about when I got the job, this was like I'd been in 6 divisions. I'd never been to the AFC East. I didn't really know that much about the Dolphins relative to, the way I know the rest of the league. I kind of thought I assumed that the fan base had to be kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a Southern California or something where, there's a lot of things to do. So, they're distracted and maybe they'll be around for when you're winning. That was not the case. This fan base was just like a sleeping giant that, haven't won a playoff game in now 24 years. But it's really the fan base and kind of like the appreciation of history where, I'm kind of digging the aqua now.
Yeah.
Where before I was like, but I kind of, there's so much history tied to it. Those 70s teams were impactful and kind of changed the whole subculture of South Florida sports. This is unbeknownst to me. How I've learned so much in 1 year, guys.
Yeah.
But so, I think the fan base and the players, they're into it. So judge it until we do something about it.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get you an aqua jersey.
They do. The players look faster in the aqua. That's for sure. Like,
That
do you
is a
ever
fact.
just go out on the practice field and you're like, hey, Tyreek, can you just run some routes just so I can watch how fast you are?
Yeah, I mean, when you got it, why not? You know, he's in the building and he's really good at running routes very fast, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
However, I try not to make him do unnecessary stuff. I want to keep fast, but I have to tell you, in person, aqua, white, green, red, fuchsia, dude looks fast in any color.
Yeah, I believe that. So based on the wide receivers, I had a question about Andrew Hawkins had a quote talking about you as a coach and how when you came in, he was essentially like, he told us, throw out everything you know. I'm going to teach you something different. How does that go when you have those first meetings? Has it been like hard in your career to get guys to buy in right away, knowing like, hey, I'm going to do something totally different. Like, you just have to trust me? Because I'm always fascinated with that with coaches, where if you don't have the Super Bowl rings like Belichick, to get guys to buy into a different system than what they know has to be a little bit daunting for like day one.
Yeah, it's you hit the nail on the head. That's a problem that I recognized literally my first full-time paying job in the NFL. It was 2006, and I was a offensive assistant, and Andre Johnson was a 25-year-old ascending superstar, and yet you want to add value, but how is that guy going to listen to this guy?
Right.
That's something that, and so I had to figure it out, and it was pretty quick that I realized, oh wow, on the professional level, like, these guys want to make the most money they can. They want to be the best they can. There's a lot of pressure on them, and basically anybody that can help them do that, they'll listen to. So the objective was not to, like, it's one of my favorite parts of this job, is I fully know that my job is to exceed the eye test expectations when I first meet people. Like, I have to earn their listening. And when you really think about it, should you desire to be entitled to people just assuming you know what you're talking about? It's not the worst thing in the world to have to earn their listening and earn their trust. So to do that, it takes an annoying amount of preparation for those first meetings specifically.
Yeah.
Because you have to forecast, okay, I'm going to say this. Now, what will be the natural inclination of the listener, of the player? What are their experiences? What's going to be the resistance? How do I get in front of the rebuttal that they may voice, they may not, but how do I get in front of that? And basically tell a story of whatever I'm pitching to them and make sure that it's very tight. Just because you're exactly right. The eye test, on top of the fact that I'm approaching it differently, it's not going to be generally different makes people uncomfortable. And so people want to be comfortable, and you just really relying on that known fact that, hey, all players, if you can be of resource to them, don't care what it looks like, relying on that, allows you to go bold that way.
We're going to get back to Mike McDaniel in a second. Before we do, he's brought to you by Peloton. I was actually in the Peloton studio on Monday. Me and Stephen Che went in there, did a Kindle Tool Pop Punk ride. I gave her some good calls for the playlist. You can go take that ride right now. Me and Che are front row, a little bit off to the left. You might be able to see us once or twice. I'm not going to talk about what my score was, because I was the wildfires. The air wasn't that good. I wasn't breathing so well. But it was a blast. Shout out to Peloton for having us in studio. Peloton makes exercise approachable, makes it fun. I did Peloton earlier today, actually. I'm getting back into Peloton shape. You know what was messed up? Chris Long tweeted out a GIF of me earlier today because I did his podcast. And in the GIF, it was from 2020 when I was in the thick of my Peloton addiction. And I saw that and I was like, that sucks. I was way skinnier back then. I was in such better shape. Damn. So I'm getting back into Peloton, getting back into it. I'm going to be doing a Peloton almost every day. It's the best. Got the Peloton set up in my house. They've got the bike. They've got the tread. The tread is fantastic because the tread takes the guesswork out of workouts with supportive instruction. It can help every runner or walker experience what it's like to push past their pace by personalizing their walk, run, or their hike based on the comfort level and ability. It's a great workout, and if you're still wondering whether or not the Peloton tread is worth it, take it home, try it out for 30 days, worry-free. If it's not right for you, return it for a full refund. Tell you what, Peloton, if you're listening right now, I've got the bike. I've got it in my workout room right now. I still need to name my home gym. That's a must-have if you have a home fitness center. So I need the Peloton tread. If you get me the Peloton tread, I promise I will do at least 4 Peloton tread workouts a week for this entire summer. As long as I'm in my house, I will be on that Peloton tread. First time with bike or bike plus or tread, tell you what, they're going to make it easy. It's a super easy workout to get started with. There's no intimidation factor. You can sign up for beginning classes. You can sign up for intermediate, advanced. There's a workout for everybody. If you're ready to give it a go, give the Peloton tread a try. Take it home for 30 days, worry-free. This interview is also brought to you by our great friends over at Chevy. I love Chevy. I was driving a Chevy Silverado when I first moved to Chicago. Got a rental for the week, hauling stuff around. The Chevy Silverado is an awesome truck. It was turning heads everywhere I went. If you're making trips to the grocery store, if you're going out to Costco or going to Target, going to Best Buy, making all these types of runs, you're going to want a Chevy Silverado in your arsenal. It's also just a great everyday truck to drive around because they have the all-electric Silverado. It's all new. It's the most valuable truck. It's available with a 400-mile range, GM estimated on a full charge, over 10 feet of length in the bed with the multi-flex tailgate combined with the multi-flex midgate. It's got a super large 17-inch diagonal display screen. It can tow up to 10,000 pounds of max towing, 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds with WOW mode. You better believe I'm using WOW mode when I'm getting on the interstate. You need to get in between cars, get that merge in, do the power merge with WOW mode. Head over to Chevy.com, learn more today. Chevy.com, learn more. This truck is awesome. And now here's more Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
I've got an alternate method that maybe you could try is just bring back the 2 earring look that you had. You remember that? There's that screenshot of you on, I think it's Channel 9 News in Denver. It says Michael McDaniel, Broncos ball boy. You've got the 2 big hoop earrings. You wear those into a meeting and you get instant respect because you're like, this guy's going to steal my girl.
Right. Or like, does he have any financial advice? He looks responsible. Multitude of things that are going through their heads. So many adults tell you, oh, you're going to regret that. And you're like, at that age, you're like, huh. And then at some point that falls out of fashion. And yes, you're kind of laughing at yourself.
I think it's a good look. I think you bring it back. Maybe if you win a Super Bowl. You can get away with anything if you win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I could. You think I could wear clogs on the sidelines?
Yes, yeah, definitely. If you win a Super Bowl,
that's the dream.
Yes.
You go barefoot on the sideline.
You definitely can.
One with the earth. I like that.
Yeah, I got a couple Tua questions. The first is we're part of Tuanon.
Tua of them?
Yeah, we have Tua questions. We're part of Tuanon. We're believers. Why is it, do you think, that Tua gets criticized more than like the average quarterback? It's kind of a bizarre situation. Is there anything that you can put your finger on? It's like guys just don't, for some reason, like the prognosticators and the analysts don't see what I'm seeing. Like what it is a little, he gets talked about differently and more than most quarterbacks.
No, there's a couple things going on. I think because I've wondered the same thing in terms of the polarization of people. Like a lot of people have strong opinions either way. I think, the starting point is he is different. Different is kind of makes people uncomfortable. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, he throws with his left hand, not his right.
Yes.
Which is crazy because he's right-handed, but he just learned how to throw left on instruction by his father. So that's a little caveat. That's one. I think, throughout the history of time, people have shunned others when they can't pronounce their last names, and there's a lot of letters.
That's true.
A lot of vowels.
That's true. I hate Coach K.
But to be, see,
Yeah,
I knew it was there.
Yeah,
So many consonants. I mean, geez, dude.
it's obnoxious.
Right. What are you trying to prove? But also, like, I think anytime there's also a lot of conviction, and when there's a lot of conviction with people and they're over the top about it, people tend to speak up more in the negative. And then once you dig your heels in, now all of a sudden, 3 years down the road, you have what are those dolls, that voodoo dolls?
Yeah.
You're voodoo dolling Tua because he's the bane of your existence. Why? Because you said you didn't like him one time and are tripling down. So who knows? All I know is, I think I feel great about the guy.
Yeah.
Love the guy. I don't say I'm with you guys.
Yeah, you've done a very good job of like supporting him, and I've noticed that because there's sometimes coaches will just be like, oh, open competition. And then my other question was the famous story about after one of his concussions on the plane, you guys talked, and then he pulled up MacGruber and you laughed. Now, did you laugh because he was watching MacGruber, like the idea of it, like he thinks this is a good movie? Haha, what an idiot. Or were you actually laughing at MacGruber?
I mean, it happens to be like my favorite show of all time.
Okay.
My favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
It's
Red flag.
No, I like MacGruber.
But favorite of all time?
It's an excellent film.
Of all time.
I say it in jest. I really like the movie.
Okay.
There's probably some emotional movement that some deeper, Shawshank Redemption or something would bring out, but it's up there for me because I thought it was so aggressively ahead of its time for 2010, and Will Forte makes me laugh. So he was watching the movie because I can't remember how it came up, but I put him up to watch it. And most of the time, I pitch that movie, it falls on deaf ears, no one follows up with it. And he had it loaded before that week of travel was prepared to watch it. And I was dying laughing because whatever judgment, I just didn't really realize that his sense of humor would be directly correlated with mine. We have different styles and whatever. So I got a huge kick out of him thinking it was as hilarious as I did.
Mm-hmm. So you basically waited. You were like, MacGruber's my favorite movie. I'm trying to get everyone on the Dolphins to watch it. And then you waited for Tua to be concussed to convince him to watch it. Do I have that right? Like, here we go. I got him now.
It was stream of consciousness. Randomly came up in a conversation. I probably dropped a weird quote. And whether or not it influenced his opinion on the movie, that's for him to tell us.
Yes,
but yeah, I mean, I tried to show it realistically. I just tried to show it the night before every game, and it just fell on deaf ears.
That's your pump up movie for everybody.
Yeah.
Have you tried
to get Buffalo?
Have you tried to convince Vic Fangio to watch it? I'm sure he'd love it.
No, I mean, all Vic does is bring it up. Like without just, I'm not even offering anything up. He's just like, hey man,
MacGruber.
So when's the last time you've seen MacGruber? Because I get a special cut. No, it's not quite the audience that I'd shoot for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. That's got to be. I mean, Vic Fangio is an incredible defensive coordinator. Have you had like dinner with him? Do you guys have a lot in common other than football?
Dude, it is outstanding. I very much love I think it's so cool how there are things that we have a lot in common with. There's a lot in common just how we look at the game. And then there's things like our personalities and our default mechanisms are way different.
Yeah.
Which to me, I don't want. If I had a bunch of Mike McDaniels running around here, people would figure out that it's not that cool. So like I think that balance serves great purpose. But the bottom line is, I think he's as good as it gets as football coaches
Agreed.
in the National Football League. So, I mean, I'm still fired up that I tricked him to come here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be weird after all these years with Denver and with Chicago, seeing him in like a super warm climate all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to be really strange.
You're
going back to the Aqua thing, weren't you?
Yeah, no, but he probably hates it.
He's got
probably
that
like, it's
big
too
Gore-Tex
hot.
jacket that he's had basically sewn on his body for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but then all of a sudden Vic Fangio with Mike McDaniel, now he's buying aqua-colored cars.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because it's not true.
I have another
been
Miami-related question for you because you've been seen courtside with all the big celebs down in South Beach at the Heat games. Now they're playing against the Nuggets in the finals. You're a Denver boy. Who are you rooting for in the finals?
Ooh.
No, this is easy. I feel great about it. It's they're my two favorite teams in basketball. It's really, you become a professional football coach and you kind of like I could care less about the Broncos after I stopped working for them because it's the business you're in, right? But I always stayed true and followed the Nuggets and had my heart break in the bubble when Jamal Murray went down, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't lose any sleep whatsoever to pledge my allegiance to the Miami Heat because we had the fortune of having the Miami Heat coaches to training camp last year and spent way more time than they needed to give me talking with all of them and just hearing their problems of that off season that they were trying to solve that in their opinion they had a lot of good players and their biggest problem was trying to involve everyone because they were so deep and while trying to develop them. And this was very different from the narrative that I heard from the rest of America. It was like, yeah, there's one star and what are these guys' names? So I've been paying attention all year. And then, I've been fortunate enough to have tickets thrown my way. And you better believe I jumped on that. That's added to the whole deal, but I feel very personally invested into their whole movement. Because even beyond that, it speaks so much to what, I believe in team sports. The team playing in the finals was last in the league in scoring. That team was negative point differential for the NBA regular season. It's the first time that a team that had negative point differential ended up in the final since, you guys remember, Minneapolis Lakers 1959.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Don't forget.
The stuff that they're overcoming, the injuries that they persevered through, and really the way they approach coaching and the whole program in general, getting firsthand exposure. I'm too deep, man. Too deep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Turn your back on Denver. That's fine.
Good. Regardless, it's good ball. And, it's not that heartbreaking to be like, yeah, I want the Heat to win. The Nuggets have never been in the finals, accomplished a lot this season. Jokic's not going anywhere. Not going to lose any sleep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
It disappoints you guys, huh?
Can I give you one piece of advice in coaching? Now, I've never told this to any other coach. I've been waiting for you to come on the show.
Well, this is gonna be good.
Because I've got a wrinkle that I think could revolutionize offensive football. And
all right.
So I come from a rugby background. I played rugby in college. I played for about 10 years in men's league afterwards.
Whoa.
And
dude.
pretty sick brag.
A lot of rugby.
A lot of rugby. I wasn't very good, but I picked up enough about the sport to realize that if an NFL coach incorporates designed downfield laterals more frequently, they have the opportunity to break out big chunk plays on a basis that I think the risk outweighs the reward if it's coached correctly And if it's taught correctly with the right technique of going into contact and then pitching backwards to a guy that you know is going to be there. Now, I waited to tell this to you and you only because I think that you are the mind that could actually get this done in the NFL. And I'm telling you, the sky is the limit if you could figure out a way to do this like maybe three times a game, 2-3 times a game. That's really all it would take to have those make a difference.
Well, see, the best part of the whole scenario is there are some people that have simultaneously developed the same thought. It has worked its way into the league. There's a couple teams that I've seen do it this past season, but strike that from the record because this is the first conversation that's ever been had about it. So when we copy other teams, I would love the credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get it.
You get it. And I get the credit,
but it's out there. What you're saying is not that outside the box. You just have to have the right known scenario. And you know what? You have to have a receiver with a lot of composure and ball skills to be able. But there's some traction. The way teams pursue and compress tackle in the league, you'll get people to overplay and could, we tried it once against the Chargers. We pretended to unintentionally fumble, and Tyreek just picked it up and took it to the house.
Yeah, that was
smart. A ground lateral, as they call it.
Same thing. Yeah, and you'll look like a genius if you start working this into the offense.
And then you guys will pump that narrative.
Yep.
And I know how big your guys' audience is, so
and then watch this. Watch this. After you start doing that, then teams they stop over pursuing and they spread out too much, and then boom, that's a one break tackle away from taking it to the house without even pitching it.
Now normal ball is explosive and unguardable.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. I got a couple last questions. The first one, I don't know if you've been asked this before, but were you vaping on the sideline in Buffalo?
What?
You were vaping on the sideline.
Vaping?
There was a clip of you. You went
like water vape?
You went with your hand to your mouth, and it looked like you were vaping. Were you vaping?
I mean, what a confusing question. I don't know this technology you guys speak of. Having said that, I will leave you with this. In past lives, I have vaped.
Okay.
The idea of, regardless, just the idea of that being something that people are talking about after a playoff game is annoying enough to provoke me to never do it again, and I've since quit. Classic McDaniel style. Classic McDaniel style, cold turkey, just like alcohol. So, but as far as a game, I'm sorry. I wish I was better schooled on the subject. I just don't totally know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, it's crazy people would even assume that. All right, so I had one last question. It's a Roback question. RHOBACK.com. Use code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com. Promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Last year, and this is also, I'll admit, I've been emotionally damaged by the Chicago Bears, but I think I said before the season that you were giving me Mark Trestman vibes, and I was like, it's good when it's good, and then if it starts to go bad, will guys still listen? You had a season where you proved that like you can do it. You went through the ups and downs. You went through some losing streaks. When you were going through that losing streak, did you have at any point like a mini crisis of confidence? Like, shit, this is different than when I'm the head guy here.
Well, first of all, the whole reason we were in the losing streak was because I heard those comments, and there's only one way to prove that I'm not.
Yeah. Little adversity, self-inflicted adversity.
Yeah. So really that was, so here's the thing I know about coaching in the National Football League. You won't always win. And when you don't, it's very, very black and white. You lose, you suck. You win, you're awesome. Okay? So one of the biggest, things that I was looking forward to, ironically, was I knew that is something that happens every year to multiple teams, and you go one or two directions. So I looked at that as like, this isn't negative. This is actually when people need a coach.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most important time. This is when you are actually most doing your job. So I was very, very motivated. It's not necessarily fun. But to say that I didn't, it was when, not if. Like that is something that I think people have this misnomer in expectations of, whether you're in professional sports, you're a football coach, or just a regular average Joe, as it were. Like, these expectations of avoiding adversities is what it can be catastrophic, because adversity will happen.
Yeah.
So get your mind around that. There will be losing streaks, and the competitor in me, the flame was lit in that. That's a hard thing to do, is to pull yourself out of it. Would have liked to pull ourselves out of it quicker. Circumstances didn't allow it. But to me, I see those hard moments is when I'm earning my check.
Yeah. It's a good answer. And it's why I changed my tune. I was like, look, because it worked the first couple of months, and then you hit that rut, and you guys still got to the playoffs and righted the ship.
It will always be the case, and I'll never be surprised by it. It's it's been right there in front of me in my entire career. No one's going to give me anything. No one's going to, I have to earn it. And what other way would I want to? So it was going to be, can he lead a team? Can he stand up in front of the room? Then after that, it's going to be, okay, well, he can get him to play hard. Can he win football games? Then it's going to be, all right, can he pull people out of losing streaks? Then it's going to be, can he do anything in the playoffs? Then it's going to be,
will he stop vaping? Yeah.
It's going to be retroactive, not proactive. And that doesn't bother me. I understand that. This just in, if you approach things in sort of a different manner, there's no other, I wouldn't expect it to be any other way.
Yeah.
So have to prove myself to earn your faith. And what way would I want it?
He kind of like took every Monday episode of Pardon My Take with when you win, you're awesome. When you lose, you suck. Because that's pretty much our analysis. That's our analysis. Yeah.
That's not an indictment. Here's the thing.
You cannot win and lose at the same time. Trent Dilfer said that.
Yeah, that's true. That's facts in the National Football League.
Bam. So there's a lot of people that are heavily invested. I know this. When I watch sports, and the only time I'm nervous in sports is when it's another sport and I care about the outcome. Okay? It is gut-wrenching to invest emotionally into something, have no control over it, and that motivates and elicits emotion. There's also a lot of economic factors. This is a huge business, and there's fantasy football galore. There's so many people, and so I take it as like people care.
Yeah.
So they're going to be happy, and there's too many compounding variables. So, I probably get too much credit when we win. And, I'm going to get, called into question. But I don't look at the job as like I'm entitled to people just, just believe in me. It's a result business, and people want you around if you're getting the results they want, and it doesn't bother me at all. It's very, I don't know. I can understand it, and wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be a very strange part about being a coach is you try to tune everything out, but you can't listen to the radio because there's going to be someone talking about you at the radio. You can't open up a newspaper because someone's going to be talking about you in the newspaper or on any of your favorite websites. Are you able to actually like tune everything out, or does some of that, if it's criticism, if it's praise, is it inevitable in this day and age that any coach is going to be absorbing some kind of his press clippings?
No, I think it's when, for example, if we lose a game, I already know. So I know exactly what's coming. I don't know the details, but there's people that are employed to do that. And so, when I'm, getting ready for a press conference, I'm made aware of certain things that will probably come up, and a lot of that can be negative. But like, I've always recognized that as an issue, and this just in, like, I spent my whole career preparing to be able to do the job of a head coach, not becoming a head coach. In that process, you have to kind of problem solve that. And like, whoa, this is hard. There's countless times that I've seen really good coaches get unnecessarily blasted for results that they only have part control in. But that's kind of what you're paid to do. Somebody's got to be held accountable for things. The managed expectations, I think I'm very comfortable with what to expect. The pattern is like crystal clear.
Yeah.
Like literally, it is like I've been on teams. I mean, shoot, in 2001, it might have been in San Francisco, might have been one of the best coaching jobs that I've seen anyone do that Kyle Shanahan did. Okay. He was getting blasted. People were begging for his job at week 5 or whenever we were like week 7, we were like 2-5 or something. Can't remember. So that why? Because there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of variables that are compounding, and the only thing that you can directly attribute a lot of times is the actual outcome.
Yeah.
So,
this is all it's very smart things that you're saying. And you're convincing me right now that you definitely have a Fyre burner account on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're getting some takes off, like, because you're handling it all very emotionally healthily, I think, but you got to get those takes off.
No, I definitely don't have a Twitter account, but my wife definitely does.
Ooh, nice. She gets him off.
So when things either way get really over the top, she tries not to say something to me, but she just wears it on her sleeve because she cares so much. And I think it's the weirdest. It's got to be such a tough position for her.
Yeah.
Because, like, she in her mind's building me up, and then all of a sudden, people are, I'm not sure if you guys paid attention to the news, but there was on several occasions, people gave it to me last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm very comfortable with that. That's part of the responsibility of the job. And like, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Like, it's a really cool job. There has to be some give, and that's one of them. But for loved ones and stuff, that's where it's toughest, because they have no control over it. And a lot of people, it's really weird too. Like, I went 0 to 60. I was under the radar in the NFL for 15 years. No one talked about me. And then all of a sudden, all sorts of people have opinions. It's a transition. But I think you have to be prepared for that going into the job. Because I am ambitious, and I have high expectations, but I was pretty sure I was going to break Don Shula's record year 1.
All right. So we'll leave you with this. It sounds like you need a free subscription, you and your wife. We're going to give you 2 free subscriptions to Pardon My Take. You can get it on your phone, free subscription.
Free?
Here's
for the first 2 months?
No, free, lifetime guarantee, free.
Lifetime.
Yes, and here's what we're going to do for you and more for your wife. Whenever you guys lose, we will make sure to say at least one nice thing about Mike McDaniel.
That's all she needs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We will say all the mean stuff, but we'll also add in one nice thing.
Guess what? You guys are employed to have opinions, and in an indirect way, you guys are part of my paycheck.
Yep.
And
Yes.
thank
Don't
you for
forget
paying
that.
me.
Don't forget that.
No, it's something that. So it really, when you say disparaging things about my character and my personality, I'll just let it roll right off. It's part of the deal. I know it's coming. We'll just
add one nice
say to
thing.
me, "Hey, don't lose." Then
Yeah,
you don't have to do.
Yeah.
We're also never wrong with our analysis.
Yeah,
either.
that's right. We've never been wrong.
Why would you say it?
McDaniel should have run the damn ball.
Yeah.
That's what we say. And
Yeah.
we're right.
No, sometimes I do get confused. I do need reminders. Do the plays that work.
Yeah. Run the touchdown play.
Tyreek fast.
Yes.
Boom.
Listen, run the touchdown play is undefeated.
Shots. Pew, 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 pew.
Dude, I was just saying the same thing. Yeah, and score more points than the opponent.
Yep. It's pretty simple.
Not rocket science.
Yeah. Run
Easy
the ball.
stuff.
Stop the run. Heat up the quarterback. We know ball.
Run the jewels. Juuls.
Yeah, I forgot the rappers' names. No, I'm just a big Mike guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
are a big Mike.
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike. There it is. See, I'm getting old. That's the band. Run the Jewels.
Yep.
Wait, you can't
Right?
say you're getting old.
Killer Mike and LP, right?
That's right.
Do you have any?
That's what we're talking about, right?
You're the same age as us. Don't say you're getting old.
Well, see, everyone's getting older, my friends.
Ah,
Not me.
Shit.
I mean,
Who's
I lie
doing it
about my
better?
age progressively younger every year. I'm 26 now.
Yeah.
Oh, you get ID'd at bars?
All the time. Yeah. You're like, ma'am, I'm going to need to see a picture.
All right. Well,
And how dare you wear that?
yeah. Coach, thank you. It had been a long time coming. We really appreciate you coming on. And hopefully you're a recurring guest now. So whenever we ask you to come on, you have to come on. That's by contract. But you did get 2 free subscriptions as part of my take. So we're good.
Well worth it. No, it was honestly awesome. You guys do a tremendous job, have carved out a really cool fixture in a market that what didn't really exist. You guys kind of kicked the door in. So I'm very appreciative of your patience and your understanding of my terrible, terrible phone manners.
Yeah, I just texted you just now. I said don't ignore our text. So now you have our numbers.
I just text back, new number, who dis?
Lose my number.
Yeah, lose my
Aaron
number.
Rodgers.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Coach. Okay. A couple things to get to. So should have mentioned it. We taped Mike McDaniel, I think, 2 weeks ago. If you are on Twitter, if you're an online NFL fan, you probably saw the sad news about the creator of Tuanon passed away, left 4 kids and his wife. Tragic accident.
Eric Carmona.
Yeah,
is the
there's
guy's name.
a GoFundMe. I just tweeted out the link. I just donated. So if you could donate even a couple bucks, I know he provided me with a lot of content and laughs over the years. So we had taped Mike McDaniel before this had occurred. We probably would have brought it up with him. But if you can donate, please do. Seemed like a great guy, and he made a ton of funny content that makes the NFL. That's why we watch the NFL, for the storylines and the fans and everyone involved.
Guys like that on Twitter make the NFL a better product. and
Yes.
a better sports watch.
Yes.
They make sports fun.
Yeah.
He made sports fun. So
yeah.
shout out to him. Very sorry for his family and the loss that they're going through. But yeah, it's a good cause to donate
And
to.
Tua donated 10 grand. So
That's awesome.
he's the man.
Yeah.
So so if you can, please do. Let's do, before we do Fyre Fest, we got 38 at the Garden. You can only watch it on max.com. We're doing reviews every Friday for the next 6 weeks. We did Succession finale, we did Bloodsport.
Great movie.
38 at the Garden right now. Next week we're doing Man on Fire. Denzel Washington. Hank has not seen it before. It is an awesome, awesome Denzel movie.
Jake?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
Jake. I didn't know you like to get wet.
38 at the Garden. I liked it.
Also,
First off the bat, it was nice to click into it, and it's 38 minutes.
38 minutes, which they did on purpose.
That
I
was a
think.
delight.
It was beautiful. Yeah, it's a quick watch. Linsanity, the crazy stretch, which looking back really was insane. Like the fact that he went from sleeping on a couch to dropping 38 on the Lakers and Kobe, and that whole stretch, and then that I completely had forgotten about after the 38 at the Garden against the Lakers, the game winner against the Raptors. that, and I didn't believe it when I was watching the documentary, so I went back and I watched the final possession. I have never seen anything like that where the entire crowd went crazy for him. He was in Toronto and he hit a buzzer beater against the Raptors, and the whole crowd went nuts for him.
Yeah, it was wild. So when he got called to the Knicks after he got cut by I'm trying to remember the teams that next
It was
on
the
him.
Warriors.
The Warriors signed him initially because their GM had seen him play with the GM's son in AAU. And they're like, this kid can play.
It was the Rockets, I believe.
He didn't get a chance with the Warriors, didn't get a chance with the Rockets, and then he gets to the Knicks, kind of his last chance, and he doesn't even have a place to stay. So he's staying at his family member's couch. Like he's literally his brother's couch, living on a couch in New York City and playing for the Knicks, trying to get a fair shake of it. And then his brother's like, well, I've got some friends coming into town, so sorry, you can't stay on my couch anymore. So his brother kicks him off the couch, and then he has to stay with his teammate on his couch.
Landry Fields
Stays at Landry Fields' place, and then D'Antoni's like, well, we don't have any more players to put in. Everybody's injured. I guess we'll give Jeremy a shot. And then he gets in the game. First of all, Tyson Chandler, when he starts playing alongside him on the Knicks, doesn't even recognize him as a teammate.
I love that
in the
story.
hotel. They run into each other on the floor of their hotel room, and Tyson Chandler thinks that he's a fan, and is like, I don't know how they're letting fans, like security probably fucked up somehow.
Yeah,
because this guy's not like, I don't know who he is.
Tall ass fan.
6'3", yeah.
6'3", yeah.
And so Lynn finally gets a shot, and then as he's staying on Landry Fields' couch, he just goes on this insane run, and now he's set for life. It's crazy, like the sliding doors moment involved with Jeremy Lin. He was at the right place at the right time, and he took advantage of it.
I did like when they were talking about him sleeping on a couch, and they were doing interviews with different players from the team, and Iman Shumpert was doing his interview from his movie theater.
Yeah.
That was a pretty nice touch. But yeah, the whole story's nuts. It also was cool. Hey, newsflash, we're white guys, so we don't think about it the same way. And watching a lot of the interviews of Asian Americans being like, we've never seen this. Like, we never had someone who looks like us playing in the NBA, and to have him do it in New York in that stretch where he was just out of this world good. It's a cool story that, like, we shouldn't. I remember living in it and being like, this is insane. When is he going to stop? I also, like, his name was so perfect for Linsanity was such a cool thing to say. But yeah, he ended up making $65 million.
Good for him.
$65 million off sleeping on a couch and having, and the best part of the whole story was
he won a ring.
He won a ring.
Yep.
He won a ring with the Raptors. His agent telling him after he's sleeping on his brother's couch and he knows he's going to play that night because there's so many injuries. His agent being like, "Hey, just so you know, this is it. Like, if you play poorly, it's over. You're never playing again in the NBA. You're going overseas. Like, it's it." Having that pressure is insane.
The as a white guy moment for me was when he did the wave off, because I remember watching that wave off and seeing the highlights of that and just being like, that kicks ass. That was awesome that
Get out of my way.
that Jeremy Lin had the balls to do that. Not also realizing that if you're an Asian person, you're watching this, that's like a moment for you where like, yeah, you can step up and you can be considered an alpha.
Yeah. Hank, Toronto bad sports town?
Toronto is a bad sports town, although he
that was the thing that popped in my head as well. It's like Hank's gonna definitely say Toronto's a bad.
That's
sports
just Canadians though. Canadians get a pass.
They're nice, yeah.
Yeah, but then they got their street cred back when they cheered for Kevin Durant's Achilles blowing up. As being hard.
Is Canada a bad sports town overall?
Yeah, they can't win a fucking Stanley Cup, and it's their sport.
Bad sports town.
This was
And they're smoking us out right now.
Well, that's kind of like that is on the other side. That's like a Turkish soccer riot that they've got going on up in
The
Quebec.
aliens might have heard me too. Do you see the reports? There's like a police report. Haven't seen them yet though, so they still haven't done shit. But there was a police report that got shared of a guy calling and saying aliens landed in his backyard and there's 10-foot figures. No pictures
Whoa.
yet, so probably still bullshit. Jake sent his note, and this was a very Jake note that only he would think this watching this. They showed the box score, and I thought to myself, how could the Knicks be 12-15 in February? Then I remembered that this was during the lockout year when Christmas Day was opening day, so Linsanity almost didn't happen if they hadn't ended the lockout 2 months prior.
Wow, Jake. Always on it.
Very cool, Jake.
Yeah, he just sees the numbers. He's like, wait a second, 12-17 in February?
It was a good. I love that they did it at 38 minutes.
Well, we talked about this on the show a bunch where it's like they stretch out documentaries now where it used to be a 1 hour,
perfect.
hour and a half, and then now they're doing these 6-part series for something that should be an hour. This clicking into it, thinking it was going to be an hour and a half, only being 38 minutes, which the story, that's all you needed.
It was perfect for the
tight.
story. Yeah.
So that coincided almost perfectly with Tebow Mania too, right?
No.
2011?
Yes. Maybe.
It was 12, so it was in February of 12.
Yeah, but it would be the 2011 NFL season.
I believe so.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Tebow Mania and football, like college football.
No, in professional football.
Yeah.
So that you want to retract your very harsh no that you just gave me?
I said no, yes, maybe.
Okay. All right.
I said it all.
He did cover all of his bases.
I remember just that like 6-month span being like, what's going on in professional
In
sports?
sports, yeah.
Sports is weird right now.
People forget that the Bears started Tebow Mania. I think it was it Marion Barber who didn't he went out of bounds. He shouldn't have gone out of bounds, and then he had like one of his first comebacks. Mm-hmm. It's nice to be part of those history moments on the wrong side. Also started Colin Kaepernick's career. That was what was his name? The guy who played everywhere. Jason
Campbell.
Jason Campbell had a spot start on Monday Night Football against the Niners. Colin Kaepernick just absolutely torched the Bears.
Yeah, Jason Campbell, big. Yeah. Just wait till next year, guy.
Yeah. But 30 at the Garden, much recommended, and it's also like Hank said, a quick watch, which is they really did it was a perfect length for a story that wasn't a long story, but it was cool to relive it all and remember how insane it all was. So go watch it, max.com. Next week, Man on Fire review. Very excited for that. Everyone watch it, max.com. Sign up now. Has a great list of all types of documentary shows, everything on max.com, and movies. Man on Fire. All right, Firefest, wrap us up. Firefest of the week. Henry.
Yeah, I've had I think 3 or 4 different times where I know, all earnesty, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in consecutive days. So I'll just rattle them off. Got my new car in New York last week, so I was driving it to Chicago. So I took 2 days to do that. I drove 6 hours and then 6 hours yesterday. I obviously packed. I had been staying at my apartment in Hoboken, so I had some stuff left there. I had my computer and my work set up because I was working out of there. So I had a pretty packed car, a very packed car. It was completely packed, full of shit that I was, my final belongings that I was bringing with me to Chicago. Obviously, I had my golf clubs in there. Stopped in Youngstown, Ohio. That was the 6 hour mark. We have a coworker from Youngstown, so I hit him up. I was like, "Is there any good golf courses around there?"
Mm-hmm. Had to golf.
Is that why you drove across the country, Hank?
No,
That's definitely why you
I had
drove.
to get my car.
That is 100% why you drove.
Oh my God.
I had to bring my car out here.
You drove for 12 hours so that you could play golf.
No, you're not. That's not true at all. I didn't play golf. Spoiler. So woke up in Youngstown, drove to the golf course. My golf bag was basically in the back seat where you would put your legs, so it was at the bottom, but it was trapped on top with a bunch of shit, and I tried to pull it out, couldn't pull it out. Thought about taking everything out of my car so that I could get my golf clubs, but I was so frustrated because I tried to move a couple things, tried to squeeze it out. It just wasn't happening. So I was like, this was fucking stupid. Got back in the car, kept driving. So that was bothersome. That was a dumb move. Didn't think about it. Whatever. Get to Chicago. Finally, 6 hour drive, long day. Didn't get to golf. Was just grinding out there.
You did go to the golf course.
I did go to the golf course. I did pull out one club and hit it on the driving range for 20 minutes.
So you did play golf.
I hit a couple balls.
Play golf. Okay.
I hit a couple balls. When I moved into my apartment 2 weeks ago, my electricity was off. I moved in on a Friday. I had to call and get my electric box number. By the time I got all that, it was 8 o'clock at night. The electric company was closed for the weekend, and then I was leaving on the Monday night, so I wasn't going to be back there for 2 weeks. So in my head, I'm like, all right, once I get, I'll do it when I'm home in New York. I'll just call and set up my electricity, do it all. Didn't do it. Pushed it off. Get back into my apartment last night, 7:30. And when I first moved in, some of the lights worked, like the bathroom lights worked, a couple of the kitchen lights. So I was able to maneuver the weekend. It wasn't a problem. I had some source of light. I had some source of power. Get there on Wednesday night, 7:30, sun setting. None of the lights are off.
Oh.
None of the lights are on. It's about to get dark. I had all these boxes that I ordered, so I came to basically a full house full of shit that I was like, oh, I'll just, bang this unpacking out tonight with some light. Realized that I had no power. The electric company was closed until the morning. And in about 20 minutes, I was going to be sitting in a pitch black apartment.
Important question. What battery percentage was your cell phone on?
Fully charged. My huge upgrade from the Mazda, memes will experience this, has a charger, doesn't charge. Holds a charge, doesn't increase the charge. So having a car that like I got out of the car and it was full battery because it had been on the charger, great feeling. Minor upgrade. So I called PFT. I was like, hey, I have no power. He very kindly invited me over, stayed at his house, lovely place. Beautiful, no cold, lukewarm water, but great sleep, great night.
Fuck, Hank.
Come on, Hank.
It was
You're gonna trash my water temperature?
No, you asked. You're like you wanted a review, so I gave you a review.
I didn't ask you to review my hot water heater on part of my take.
Sorry.
It's a simple fix, by the way. I looked into it. I already fixed it. Now I've got the hottest water in Chicago. That's what they say about my house.
Okay, so that's part two. That when I walked into my house and I was like,
well, no,
I have no
let me
power.
let me back it
I
up
was
real
like,
quick.
I'm the dumbest person in the world. That was the second time I said that.
Hank also hit me up and was like, hey, do you have power? And I was like, yeah, I do have power. He's like, oh, I don't have power. Do you mind if I come over for just a couple hours and like use your power and then I'll go back to my apartment?
No, I said you want to hang out for a couple hours. I was thinking, I was like fine with sleeping in the pitch black. I wasn't even inviting myself. I was just like, I need something to do for the next 3 hours because I have no power.
I know, but you were like, can I come over and use your power and then I'll go home to my black apartment?
Yeah.
and I was like, Hank, just stay over at my house. Like that's what you really want to ask. That's okay. You were a great house guest. In fact, so shout out to Hank. I took a picture of Hank's room after he left this morning. The room that he stayed in.
Oh no!
He made the bed.
Yeah,
Hank made the bed. Look at that. But
Hank.
All right, if I'm grading this on a scale of 1 to Jake being like better than any housekeeper that could ever come to your house or a hotel room, I give this. You get like half a Jake on that. It's a little wrinkly. See that?
A little bit.
You could do a better job.
Jake pulls these sheets taut. He pulls them very tight. He does hospital corners, which is wonderful. But yeah, Hank was a great house guest.
All right, then I'll finish it off because this has been long-winded and I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, it has.
Go to the DMV this morning to get my new plates and my license is about to expire, so I have to get a new license. They say, okay, can we have your birth certificate and social security card? And I realized, I was like, oh, I forgot that. It's in a lockbox. Then the light bulb went off. The only thing that I did not bring with me from my Hoboken apartment, which is completely empty, I packed everything. There is one box in one pull-out shelf that contains my birth certificate, social security card, passport that is still in Hoboken.
Are they going to ship that to you?
I am working on it.
So you did do the dumbest things in consecutive days.
Then at the DMV, I was like, I am the dumbest person in the world. So it was three times in 2 days, and it actually got progressively worse. Like the golf club was like kind of stupid, but just bad packing. The lights thing was really stupid. Could have done that. I had weeks to do that, just didn't do it. And then the license thing was like, just pack your license. You literally packed everything in your apartment.
Oh, Hank!
Except for your fucking birth certificate and passport.
Good news is, Hank, you have like 1 more week to get all this out of your system, because you can chalk this off to be like, I'm in my 20s. I don't know this stuff.
Yeah, true.
Next week,
June 13th.
You're an adult. And then
what day is your birthday? Excuse. Tuesday?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Mount Rushmore's.
We should do, you know what we should do? We should get a petting zoo.
Oh.
Mount Rushmore birthdays.
You want a petting zoo?
Maybe we do the fantasy baseball draft that night. No. Why?
I guess we could, yeah.
Yeah, get drunk.
Hank, are you a cake guy, a pie guy?
I'm more of a cake guy.
Okay.
Ice cream cake.
Get a stripper?
What about
get a stripper to the office for you?
cream pies?
No. Too dangerous.
Yeah, too dangerous.
We'll get Zion in all this trouble.
Mm-hmm. All right. You suck at life.
Yeah.
Is really the too long didn't read Hank sucks at life still.
Yeah.
But you're going to be 30.
Yeah, you're in your 20s. These are youthful mistakes.
Yeah.
The DMV part is really the kicker because like once you're there, the biggest fear of anyone having to go to the DMV is you get there and you don't have the documents. Because once you make the effort to go there and stand online, there's no bigger kick in the nuts when they're like, yeah, you don't have everything you need.
But even then, it's like, all right, it's close. I can just go back to my apartment and grab them. And that light bulb going off of like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's in that box, which is, and I was like, oh, my God. It's definitely still in my fucking apartment.
Can you send Billy to their house to just knock on the door and be like,
I did call Billy. I got people working on it.
Okay, good.
But
good.
I'm shook because I'm getting these documents shipped to me, and what if they don't show up? Then I'm out of a birth certificate, passport, and social security card.
Yeah, you gotta insure that package.
Yeah, we'll see. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll be back.
Well,
sometimes some weeks I don't have Firefest, some weeks I got them all.
If you lose your birth certificate, then you might not actually, in the eyes of the law, turn 30.
Also, love being a
be stuck
road
at
dog,
29.
but I need a road dog when I'm on the road, dog.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's
Do you
not as
jerk
fun
off
solo.
while you're driving?
No,
Just once?
no.
Not just once. Come on. Little roadhead for yourself.
Have you ever?
No.
Okay. All right, PFT.
My Firefest of the week is actually closely aligned with the real Firefest. So last Friday night, I went out with a couple of people from Barstool. We went out to a local bar in Manhattan, and I was talking to Jeff D. Lowe, host of The Dozen, and we were talking about Billy McFarland. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I've got Billy's number, and we're right next to where his old office used to be. And Jeff's like, give him a call, see if he wants to come out and hang out. So I texted Billy McFarland, asked him to come out and just drink with us. I'm like, hey, I'm by your place. Turns out I accidentally sent that text to the wrong Billy in my phone book.
Billy Football?
I sent that to Billy Football.
Oh, no.
And then Billy was like, no, I can't. I'm out of town.
I got
right
bit
now.
by ticks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he said.
Yeah, my
He said-
someone in my family broke their leg.
He said he was at a funeral, which I immediately was like, well, it's 10:30 on a Friday night.
Yep.
But I think he was actually in a different town for a funeral.
Yes.
He wasn't currently at a funeral.
Right.
And then I was like, oh shit, I texted Billy by mistake. So then I texted the real Billy, and he replied to me, would love to, but can't. I'm stuck right now.
Oh.
And that was kind of an ego check on my part. I've never been stuck before by somebody where they don't even give me an explanation. They're just like, I'm stuck. I don't know if it's just like a stepmom thing. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's like, I'm stuck right now. I can't make it out. So at that point, I was like, what's that?
Got Semtex?
Yeah, he got Simtex. Yeah. So he's like, I'm stuck. I can't make it out. And I was like, man, I guess Billy doesn't think that I'm cool. And then the next day at darts, I texted Billy again. Because I was with Jeff again.
Trying
I was
to
like,
smash?
I was like,
Yeah,
let's see
whoa,
if
dude,
Billy
it's
wants
getting a little weird.
to come party. And Billy couldn't make it out again. And I was like, well, I don't think that Billy McFarland likes me very much.
Should fly him out here.
This is tough to swallow. And then a couple days ago, I get a text back out of nowhere from Billy McFarland, and he's like, well, what about next week? Are you gonna be around next week? I'm like, I will be around in New York next week. So I think Billy wants to hang out and drink beers. So I think I'm gonna go drink some beers with Billy McFarland next week, which should be fun. Maybe he'll fly me to an island.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
He's a known criminal scam artist?
Yeah. What? Hey, listen. It's not like you went to jail or anything. And alleged known criminal
I hope he
scam
ghosts
artist.
you for fucking blowing up his spot.
No, it wasn't fraud. It was false advertising. Ja
Damn.
Rule said that.
Damn.
So yeah, hopefully I'll toss back a couple pints with old Billy M.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe the real Billy.
Wait, so your Firefest is that?
That you're just going to go, I guess, is it a moral Firefest that you're now
Yeah, I think.
colluding with a criminal?
Yeah, I think
And a piece of shit?
I don't know what my Firefest is. I don't know what kind of scams I'm about to get roped into.
Yeah, a lot.
But yes, there will be scams.
Yes. All right, I got a couple quick ones. One, can't get too far into it, but listen, there's gambling regulators have their rules. There was a hearing in Massachusetts on Wednesday about a certain parlay. Let's just say it was the CLP. We're not going to say the whole name. But in defense of myself and Barstool Sports, our lawyer spent basically 2 hours saying I'm the dumbest and worst gambler of all time, repeatedly.
That's entered into the court
And
record.
it just kept on popping up on my Twitter. I was trending, and I was like, why am I trending? He's like, oh, because this guy just keeps saying, and I think he's doing a great job. So he's defending us, but in defense of us, he basically, his key witness was my dumb fucking brain.
You know what you should do, Big Cat? You should rename it next year to the must-win parlay.
I've tried those. They do not. Turns out gambling regulators don't have, like, the greatest sense of humor.
They don't have,
which I understand. It's not their job.
They don't
I
deal
agree
in the
with
world of irony and sarcasm.
No,
and
that's not their
satire.
job. It's totally
What
fine.
about parody law? That's essentially what the lawyers are doing is parody law.
No, he's I mean, he's basically being like, this guy's a piece of shit, idiot, never wins, loser. And if I didn't make that clear, let me just repeat that 20 more times.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was fun. And then my other Firefest is there was obviously people saw the smoke in Manhattan and the crazy forest fire that's happening in Canada. And And my son's school, they sent out a notice being like, if you don't feel comfortable bringing your kids to school, totally understand, like, you don't want them outside and stuff. And I'm like, whatever, he's going to go to school. There was 3 kids at school today. So
then you think about yourself
he's
as
one
a
of
parent.
the 3, yeah. Where it's like, oh, whoops,
And
should I have kept him home?
Probably the other parents had like reasons why they needed to get their kid out of the house that day.
Yeah, so, So whoops on that, but that's fine.
It's going to toughen up his lungs a little bit. They said that being outside in that weather is like smoking 6 cigarettes.
Over 24 hours.
If you're out there in 24 hours, listen, that's like training at altitude. Your son's going to come back with tremendous cardio.
Yeah, nothing. But that is always a shitty feeling when like all these other responsible parents are like, yeah, let's not put our like 4-year-olds outside today. And I'm like, nah, send the kid to school.
Yeah, that's
It'll be fine.
That's pussification of America stuff.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. All right, good show, everyone. Let's do numbers off random generators, so they don't really count, but we'll let memes count. Memes, you ever gotten it?
Nope.
I'm going to go 69.
Good guess.
17.
I'll go 23. Memes, Max?
1.
20.
Okay. You watching PFT? I'm hitting it.
TJ says
80. What did you say, Andrew? He had also 69.
You were going to guess 80 though, probably, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had
all right.
80.
Congrats. You got before memes. Good job.
Yeah. Okay. See everyone on Monday. Life episode coming Monday with Russillo and Titus. We will have some stuff about the NBA Game 4 and other things that might happen in between. We'll see everyone Monday.
Nugs in 5. Love you guys.
I promise I love dogs.